For over 3 decades, one man has dominated Kenya's political landscape. His name, Raila Amolo Odinga. To his supporters, he is a champion of democracy. To his critics, he is a master of political chaos. But beyond the speeches, the rallies, and street protests, what has been the true cost of his political career? The answer: a struggling toll on Kenya's economy, human lives, and development. Financially, his actions have cost taxpayers over 1.65 trillion Kenyan shillings from post-election violence to repeat elections and endless protests. In human life, over 1,100 Kenyans have lost their lives, while scores have been maimed and displaced due to his calls for mass action. In development, despite serving as Kibera's MP for over 2 decades, the slum only grew bigger, poorer, and more desperate. The same story can be told about Mumias Sugar and Kisumu's stagnation. After so much loss, so much distraction, and so much stagnation, maybe it's time Raila Odinga retires from politics. Because if history has taught us anything, it's that Kenya has paid enough. 1. The financial cost. The actions of this one man have cost the Kenyan taxpayers a total of 1.65 trillion Kenyan shillings. That is over half the Kenyan budget of 2023. In 2023, the Kenya Private Sector Alliance, KEPSA, announced that the Tuesday maandamano protest cost the Kenyan economy 3 billion shillings per day. We computed the number of days he led protests in Nairobi since the 2010 constitution, and it comes to a total of 19 individual days. That makes 57 billion Kenyan shillings in economy losses. Kenya's darkest time came in 2007 when protests began shortly after Raila was heard on the news calling for mass action. Between January 1st, 2008 and mid-February, Kenya lost a total of 1.5 trillion Kenyan shillings in property and lost investment due to the infamous post-election violence. In 2017, he demanded a repeat of the elections. The IEBC complied, and then after all that, Raila boycotted the elections. The Kenyan taxpayer spent 15 billion Kenyan shillings, that is 118 million USD, for no reason at all. 5 months later came the handshake, which led to the BBI. The total cost of BBI was 10 billion Kenyan shillings. Again, wasted money. This is the price Kenya has paid for Raila Odinga's political decisions. 2. The human cost. Beyond money, Raila's politics have come to an even greater price: human life. 1994, Raila split from Ford Kenya and called for protests, leading to political clashes and deaths. 2007 to 2008, Raila called for mass action, leading to over 1,100 deaths and 600,000 displaced people in the worst violence in Kenya's history. 2013, his rejection of the election results led to violence and deaths. 2017 to 2018, more deaths followed in Kisumu and Nairobi as he pushed for election protests. 2023, maandamano protests saw several killed, scores maimed, and businesses destroyed. Total death toll: over 1,100 Kenyans lost their lives. Raila's political ambitions have consistently come at the cost of Kenyan blood. Part 3. The Kibera stagnation theory. Raila Odinga was the Member of Parliament for Kibera from 1994 to 2013, a total of 20 years. Yet under his leadership, Kibera only grew larger, poorer, and more desperate. Why? Because keeping his core supporters poor, unemployed, and desperate ensured their loyalty. When people live in extreme poverty, they are easier to manipulate. When he calls for protest on a Tuesday, they have nothing to lose. They are already hungry and desperate. Meanwhile, Raila lives in Karen, flies to his home in Mombasa, and enjoys the luxury of his bulletproof SUV, while his followers return to their shacks at night. Compare this to General Korir, who took over Kibera from him in 2017. Korir introduced roads and lighting. Korir improved drainage and sanitation. Korir helped start housing projects to upgrade Kibera. Yet Raila, the so-called people's president, opposed plans to replace Kibera slums with modern apartments. Why? Because a struggling Kibera meant a political stronghold for him. The same applies to Mumias Sugar and Kisumu. Despite his influence in these regions, both have remained underdeveloped. Investors stay away from Kisumu because of the constant protests, and Mumia Sugar was looted dry under political protection. Conclusion: Kenya has paid a heavy price for Raila Odinga's politics. 1. Over 1.65 trillion Kenyan shillings in financial losses, over 1,100 deaths and thousands injured. 3. A stagnated Kibera, Kisumu and Mumia Sugar. Maybe it's time Raila Odinga retires from politics because Kenya deserves better.